Welcome, everybody. I want to welcome you to our Santa Barbara Response Network Facebook Live Compassion Center. And I'm very happy to be here and to be together with my team, my community, my friends, my partners, the people that got my back, and the team that I consider these are my homies. This is my community. And today we're going to be talking about healing, going the long run, going all the way with what we need to do going forward. It's called a marathon now. This is the marathon, and also hope. And it's been a very, very powerful couple of days. There's been a lot of shifts in our community. People are getting the vaccine. I want to say I got it today, so I'm really, 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 really happy. We have a new administration for many of us that has very significant ramifications. And it seems like the numbers for COVID are at least not skyrocketing. So we have many blessings, but we still have many, many needs. So I wanted to have time to kind of regroup, talk about self-care, talk about how we're going to go to the next phase of the pandemic and the community issues we have going on. So I'm going to share the Facebook Live today with Anthony Rodriguez, who has been with the network since the beginning and is on our board, but is also one of our core responders and my very, very good friend and compadre. Welcome, Anthony.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here with you, ladies.
Yeah.
I'm a lucky man.
Yeah, I love it. Yes, of course. You're at the table here. Now, the women are like in the administration, we have a lot of female energy. And Ali Cortez with the beautiful 6 names. Yay, yay, yay.
Alejandra Belén Cortez Narvaez, Melo Lopez, at your service.
Yes, and I'm Gina Maria Cordeiro Carvalho. And so here we are.
Mine's easy, Antonio Rodriguez.
Yes, you're going to break
actually, Anthony Rodriguez.
Rodriguez.
So I'm really, I believe that Ali has been boots on the ground, both Anthony and Ali. So we're going to talk a little bit about what that means for SBRN and what it means for them. But Ali's been out there with our youth, with our families, with the community at large. Anthony has as well through the food bank and through also all the responses to youth and in the community. So we'll just start with a very simple baseline, and then we'll go on to self-care. But I want to ask each of you right now, taking a pulse of what's happening right now in our community and what you've been doing and how you feel things are going and where things are at. We know we've had some deaths. We've had some issues in our community. So Ali, I'll start with you, just asking you where you think things are at and how are you feeling about how we're dealing with these issues in our community.
Yeah, I can't talk about self-care without being candid and being honest, right? About how I'm doing, how the community's doing. Today is a different day, and every morning I'm like, today's a new day. And I would say that the word that comes up to mind, just I don't want to generalize, but I think a lot of us are tapping into this suffering, is a grieving. And so that means everybody's just in a different place in the grieving process. Some people have reached acceptance. Some people are, on the bargaining. Some people are in anger. Some people are still in denial. And those are just a lot of waves. And that is challenging for being a service provider and trying to assess, like, how do I approach? How do I come in? And then also how do I recover myself so that I don't burn out? Because we are, like you said, in a marathon. And you know, we have been used to a little bit of just like, okay, crisis happens, we come back, we gather, we recover, we charge, but there is none of that right now. So having to be really strategic about our approaches, about being very compassionate, like just oozing compassion for ourselves and for the people we're serving, our community, with just an open heart, and taking it one day at a time. The grieving process is difficult, and it's heavy. So I would say that we are in a space where it's heavy, and then there's also, you know, there's tension between two different sides, and that I'm talking about that in general. It could be, you know, about what's going on in our community nationwide, and worldwide. There's just a lot of still splitting up going on. So we're talking about union. I'm hoping, and I see it happening throughout this darkness, through the heaviness. What lifts it up is our community, you know, our own. The medicine here has been the community showing up. They're not part of organizations. They're not part of, you know, a mission or anything. Like, they personally are showing up and they're asking, how can I help? And that's something that's different. You know, I think after this all haul of just long-term grieving and almost like chronic pain, people are still resilient and saying, how can I help? I have this resource. How can I use this resource and, you know, give it to our community? So it's a lot of coordinating, it's a lot of action taking, but mostly important, and that's what this conversation is about. It's, yes, it's heavy, it's hard, it's challenging, it's heartbreaking. On the other side of this is that there is progress happening, and there's people who with lights that are just so huge, and now all these lights are coming together, and there's just like we're talking about healing, and that's hopefully the conversation from here on, is how do we heal collectively? No more working in silos, right? That doesn't work. And so we have seen it firsthand, Anthony and I, that when people come together, there is healing in that. And that is beautiful. And that's what really, you know, cranks up the hope, right? It's like, that's the energy behind hope. So recharging, recovering collectively, hearts open, and then just, you know, being with each other, but also taking the time to recharge in your unique way. So I know I said a lot, but
No,
that's
beautiful.
just kind of my way of communicating what's been going on in the community, grieving at all different levels.
Thank you, Allie. No, very well put. I can relate to all of it. Thank you for sharing that. Anthony, what's going on with you, and what are you seeing out there?
Well, I mean, I couldn't have said it better myself. I mean, Allie pretty much got it all down, but you know, this community is extremely resilient, and I think we learned that during the debris flow. You know, we all came together. Everybody put in their part. People that we didn't even know were coming out of the woodworks and just trying to figure out what they can do. And I think that's what makes Santa Barbara so different. Is the community, the unity, the resiliency, to overcome, you know, disasters, whether it be a disaster within a community, whether it be a man-made disaster, or, you know, a actual natural disaster. I think our community has proven that we can, you know, be 805 strong, right? As they say. And, you know, that's the beauty of this community. And one thing that I feel that really needs to be done is to put out more positivity, and, you know, talk about things that maybe a lot of us may not want to talk about, but be open, and set that example for those that are kind of struggling, not knowing what to do, you know, what to say. You know, it's just let people know that it's okay not to be okay. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with it. And right now, with everything going on in the world, whether, like, you know, Ali said, in politics or in our community, there's a lot of tension. There's a lot of stress. There's a lot of emotions. There's a lot of up and downs. You know, you know, people are divided. But in reality, I mean, it's the only way we're going to get through this is together. And that's what we have to, let people know, that there is hope. There is a way to, to come out of this. You're never going to forget. You'll always remember. But, there's other ways that we can learn how to work with things in our pain and the difficult times. And just from experience, it's not easy, but it can be done. And, people need to know that they're not alone. They're not. And it's okay to ask for help if you need help or you just want to talk. There's nothing wrong with that. And, honestly, I think that's one of, the strength within us. But sometimes we don't see that. We need somebody else to help us see what we don't see. And, things will be okay. But we have to stick together and we have to pull together and we have to work together to make it through. And I think that's what Santa Barbara Response Network is about, is that compassion, like Ali said, resiliency, no judgment. We're here, and it doesn't matter who you are, where you come from. It doesn't matter. But if you have a heart, then that's what we're here for. And I've always said that from the very beginning, that the only way you can be part of SBRN is if you have a heart, you're in. But if you don't, then there's no place for you. And that's one thing that I think we've overcome, we've shown, and we are. And I think that's the beauty of SBRN, is that we're grassroots and we're straight, and we all have our faults. Nobody's perfect, and I think the way that we work together brings a lot of togetherness and hope, and we let people know they're not alone. So I think that's one of the good things that is, like Ali said, showing right now, is community and unity.
Yeah. Thank you, Anthony. That's, because you always are the heart, you're always speaking from the heart. And you are in so many ways the heart of SBRN. There's like it all goes through that big heart of yours, and you feel that caring for people. It's genuine, but it's because you are a person who's been through that suffering. And many of our responders, I mean, I'm including years, have had to deal with our own pain and be able to reach out and learn how to care for ourselves. And SBRN, now it's 12 years. The reason we, I think, sustain ourselves is because we're people helping people, community helping community. And it's not a hierarchical approach. Psychological first aid is a completely equal approach to being with someone. And it's just meeting them where they're at, meeting them where they are in their pain or in their physical need or in their grief. You meet them where they are and you let them guide you to what they need. So you have to leave outside the door the fixer hat, the fixer, the I know what's best, I'm going to get you the. No, they tell you. And it's almost like being with the child and listening. Yeah. And that's where we are covered under the Good Samaritan law. We're Good Samaritans. I mean, we're just basically community members helping others. And that's sustainable. And there's so much in that approach that's non-clinical and non-hierarchical. So that's why I love working with both of you.
Well, I think that's exactly right. And one of the things that I've noticed a lot, what people have noticed about us, is the fact that we don't stop talking to the people that we're helping. We don't have a do your mission and then you're done with them and then that's it. You wipe your hands. No, it's not even like that. I mean, everybody that we have helped and been there for, we have wonderful relationships that we've grown to have, and it's a blessing. And I think that's what makes it so different, is that we take every single person that we are able to be there for and have the honor to be there for, right? Because when people open up their hearts and open up their minds to us, that's something very special that we have to respect, right? And I think that's one thing that makes such a huge difference, is that we appreciate that, we honor that, we respect that, and we take care of that. And, you know, we're very, very adamant about how we take care of
Exactly.
our people, right? The people that we're trying to help. And, you know, till this day, from the very first response that we've ever done, I've got godchildren from people that we've responded to. I mean, we've got wonderful relationships that we're not going to stop just because the pain stopped. We want to see them continue to strive and smile. And I think that's one of the best things about SBRN is that we go in when there's so much pain, but the day that you see them smile, that makes everything worth it. You know, it's, you can't pay me enough to have that. And I
Yeah.
appreciate that. And I respect that and honor that so much. And, you know, that's what I think SBRN is definitely different. And we do bring hope.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can see it even physically in responding to the situations that we have going on in our community. I'm starting to call them the touch and goes. Like there, you know, physically, it's like you could see the grieving, the heaviness, and then someone comes in and just says, "I'm here to listen, no judgment. I don't know what you need," and that's like that's okay. I don't know what you need,
Right.
but I'm here to listen. And this like it's a small gesture, but it's so significant of physically coming up and coming out of this, you know, darkness, this corner without light, and being here like, okay, I'm back in the community. There's help, there's support, and then they do come back. But then
Right.
we do this. Eventually, they come back here and they stay here with us. And then we can do even more, right? And then we can start providing more resources. We can start connecting them to more people, to other coping skills or ways to heal. But I think what SBRN does is that we show up where it's really dark, where it's really
Right.
heavy, where a lot of people might not feel comfortable going. And it's not easy. But I know Anthony and us were like, here we go.
Yeah.
Not easy.
And we laugh now, you know, you're seeing us kind of giggle now because we do the self-care. We are very cautious because even in our training with the psychological first aid training, we focus a lot on self-care. If you don't like that word, I get you. I'm a Latina and self-care is like, oh, cringe. So I like to reframe it. And that's my mental health hat of it's recovering. Just like when you work out really hard or when you work really, you know, hard at something, you do need time to recover so that you don't become indifferent to what you love doing. And that's compassion
Right.
fatigue. If you are experiencing compassion
Yeah.
fatigue, you are burnt out, you haven't had the time to recover. And I share that, like, it's so hard for me to say, like, I'm going to go practice self-care. Like, it's still hard for me to say that, but it has been easier for me. And I say this about me because maybe it's a little, you know, nugget for you who's listening, that the reframing has helped in setting the time, 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute. There are 1 minute meditations, y'all. And they will replenish you in a way that you can last for the next hour, for the next 2 hours. But it's very important. And it's something that we teach. It's a core part of our program, the self-care and the trainings. And we do it because compassion fatigue, the worst thing about it is you not loving what you do. Right. And that's such a bummer because good people do great work. And when you stop loving what you do, that is such, I feel, you know, like, and Anthony and I, we've been there. Like, you know, we have the real conversation. We have been at the margin of it and being like this close to just being like, that's it. But we collectively bring each other back and keep ourselves accountable to do self-care and to say, call in the check-ins. Hey, how you doing?
Want my ice cream?
Yeah, even that, you know, I owe Anthony like 5 buckets of ice cream now already.
Yeah, I know.
Self-care is not selfish. Okay. Self-care is something that we all need, and it's good and it's okay. We deserve it, right? Even though it's hard for us, like, as you all know, it's really hard for me. But, you know, I've had to, since my aneurysm, I mean, that was, you know, I shouldn't even be here right now. I got lucky, you know, and it really opened up my eyes to see that, yeah, you know, I was just going full force. I mean, it was the debris flow. I mean, the Thomas fire, the debris flow, you know, getting all the funeral arrangements ready for, you know, all these families. And I was nonstop. And then finally, when I actually stopped, that's when I ended up with the brain aneurysm, and it was, yeah, I don't even know why I'm still here. I'm lucky to be here. And so, that's the thing about not taking care of yourself is, things like that can happen, and,
Mhm. Mhm.
it's not a good thing.
Mhm.
You really have to take a look at what you're doing and how you're doing it, because if you wear yourself out, you're not going to do any justice to your work. And that's something that I think that a lot of us take pride in. So we really need to take a step back when we really need to, and we feel the need. And our team is great because we can say, you know what, I can't do this right now. I'm a little overwhelmed, and there's no judgment. You know, and that's the way that things should be. There should be no judgment when somebody says, you know what, this is not a good thing for me. Maybe I should just take a step back. It's not that they're bailing out on you, but it might affect somebody different, and we have to respect that, and we have to honor that and not take it in a bad way, because sometimes we do have to take a step back, and
Mhm.
we really need to take focus on that. There's nothing wrong with it.
And that's a hard conversation. I love what you're saying, and you
Mhm.
are an, a beautiful example, Anthony, of just heart, and also someone who when you said, I don't know why I'm here, I remember we were like, Anthony, sit down. We're gonna talk to you. And we had a team, and I would want the same for me. Because I get there too. My accountability partner is my partner, and he lets me know. And there's hard conversations because the people around us know that we love what we do, and and I'm sharing this because if you see someone who's at the brink of burning out, you are saving their life. Like this is exactly Anthony. Allostatic stress load will lead to chronic diseases.
Yeah.
Physically, it'll start emotionally, but it will manifest physically.
Mhm.
And when we see a lot of when we come back after all of this COVID stuff, we're going to see a lot of chronic illnesses. And
Correct.
so that's the manifestation. That's the body never lies. And so having that conversation with someone, it's hard. My partner sat me down and he's like, you need to look at what you're doing. You're not going to last. And then he got me a puppy. And that I was like, you're right. The puppy has made me reprioritize a lot of my, makes me do a lot of pauses. But what I'm sharing with you is a very candid conversation and personal one, because you can save someone's life by
Yeah.
telling them all these signs and like the red flags of you're about to really go down a hole of wanting to help, but actually at the end of the day, you're going to hurt. Because we do make more mistakes when we're tired, when we're exhausted, and we hurt other people around us. And relationships are so important. They give us so much light. They give us so much. And so we need to also
Mhm.
care for them. So when you care for yourself, you're also caring for the relationships around you long term as well.
It's really, I'm thinking both of you are Santa Barbara heroes, the Santa Barbara Independent. No, no, but I'm saying this because there's there's you're sharing with us like, yeah, we're the people that have been nominated or seen as community heroes, community people who we look up to, and you're telling us the truth about that. Yeah, we step up, but there's a downside to this too if we don't pay attention. And this is for teachers, for nurses. I mean, there are so many people right now on the front lines with COVID that are suffering with this and don't have a lot of options. They're on the front lines night after night, day after day, dealing with all kinds of suffering, physical and emotional. They're our heroes. Our heroes are the people we look up to because they're taking on the burden of a lot of the suffering. So, because you're both have been in that role and continue to be in that role and share it with so many first responders, I appreciate everything you've said. And I also think maybe sharing with the people that are listening, what are you doing right now? Like, what do you feel is getting you through the marathon to, for the long haul? What are you doing? What can you share with us that?
My puppy. You know,
So I think puppies are it, man. You
you
both
know,
have these puppies.
yeah, I mean,
Really,
Everyone go get a
what is-
puppy. No, no. Let me
uh,
tell you. Well, Anthony will tell
it's a lot of work.
yeah, no,
But what
honestly,
is it
it's just,
about that though? There's something you can
go ahead.
that you're getting out of that, both of you.
Yeah,
What
I
is it
mean,
that you're both getting out of having this
it's,
being?
I didn't realize that I didn't laugh, right? I smile, I'm happy. I'm not gonna, I'm happy, but I didn't
Ah,
realize that I really never really laugh. And
joy.
yeah, and what was weird is that when I got the puppy, this dude makes me laugh like crazy. Like, and it was weird to hear myself laugh. Um, and it really
Get
made
it.
me think, um, why am I not laughing? Like, how come I don't laugh? Um, and I guess it's just maybe a little bit from my past kind of keeps
Uh-huh.
me, a little, I don't know, restrained maybe.
Yeah.
Um, I really don't know, but I mean, what's helped me, I mean, is obviously the puppy, and, the pandemic is really making me focus on family. Um, and because usually, I mean, everybody knows me. I mean, just go, 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 go. I really don't think, but I mean, the pandemic's made me slow down to be able to see what I really do have in front of me, and that's the family
Mm.
that I have. Even though maybe I can't see them as much, which really kills me, but what gets me through is that phone call. Being able to make them laugh over the phone, trying to teach them how to use Zoom and they can't do it, but it's cute. They're older, and but just the little things that I have are really truly blessings. Um, you guys have, both of you, Ali, Gino, you guys have been a very big blessing in my life. And, if I've never told you, I want you to know that now. You both mean the world to me. And I may not say it that much, but I just want you to know that. Because even my heart struggles, you both have always been there. And, a lot of people don't have that, and I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for both of you. You guys have been an amazing blessing in my life, and it's things like that we all have to take a look at. We're all seeing all this pain and all this other things that are going on, but maybe we should refocus our thoughts and our mind to what we do have in front of us. Something that we do have is positive. I mean, we have a roof over our head. That's a plus. Some people don't. I have my next meal coming. A lot of people don't. Just the little things that really truly make a difference. And I really want to challenge people that are watching this. Is I challenge you to take a look and see what you really have in front of you. What is it? Who is it? What is there, and who is there for you? And just reach out to them and say hi, and don't wait till they're gone to say how much you appreciate them. Say it now. And if you are not talking to somebody, break that. Make that first move to be able to reconcile, that relationship that
Mm-hmm.
you don't want to
Mm-hmm.
lose. So I think that's
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that I really want to challenge people is that show us, tell us what you appreciate. Tell us who you have in front of you. Tell us who's made a difference in your life. Let us know. You know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that's just a challenge that I'm going to give everybody. So I'm telling you both, love you. I appreciate you. You guys are a blessing, not just to me, but to this whole community. And know that I'm always here as long as God lets me be here for both of you. And yeah,
Thank
I
you.
appreciate you guys both.
Thank you. Thank you. I feel that, Anthony. Thank you. Feelings mutual.
Oh my gosh, I'm just like,
Allie. I
Anthony.
know.
Thank you. No, thank you.
I
I mean,
know.
it's
Really. Yeah.
because you inspire my light. When I'm out there, I'm like, if Anthony can do this, I can do. So it's such what you do in the community, and it's the same for everyone. It's like when you do, you never know who's watching, and I don't
Right.
mean to sound like a creeper, but it's like I see you all on the community, so it's like, oh,
Yeah.
he's doing that. That's amazing. I want to do that as well. So it's an energy, it's a currency that, you know, you bring back to the community, you inspire other people. And I feel the very same way about you. And, you know, there's days where I'm like, I'm gonna check in with Anthony and see how he's doing. But, you know, he does that too. He calls me, he's like, hey, how are you doing? Randomly. But it's like it's like that blessing, that connection, that frequency of like, we know there's stuff going on in the community. So we check in like, hey, how are you? How are you feeling? And I'm going to take you up on that challenge right now, Anthony. So there is, you know, all our families are dealing with different things, right? But I know that the Latino community is just impacted at a whole different level. And there's something that maybe a lot of community members don't know is that, you know, we have our families here, but we also have families in our other country. And the other countries, they're you know, the infection rate there is different, lack of resources. So a lot of us are grieving the deaths of our grandmothers, our grandfathers, our uncles and aunts. And so currently I'm grieving the loss of an uncle that he changed my life. And so I've been reminiscing and really reflecting on, he never gave up. He was the kind of man who he loved being a businessman, and people, you know, were like, you're crazy. Why are you going to open a tiendita, a little store, when you can go work at the factory? And he wouldn't. He's like, no, I want to be an entrepreneur. And so he opened it, and you know what? He had like 4, because each time someone broke in, stole things, it didn't do well, but he never gave up. And he was always happy, and he loved his family, and he kissed them. And it's like every day was his last day. So, you know, in the grieving process of this, you know, it's like that part, maybe this is the acceptance, I'm not too sure yet, but it's that, thank you so much for leaving that legacy. And thank you, Anthony, for that challenge, because that is part of my self-care right now. My self-care has changed a lot. Every month, every day it's different. And right now with the puppy, as amazing as she is, and as, you know, fruitful as it is to have that puppy love, it is a lot of work. Putting it out there, because I don't want everybody to be like, oh, I'm gonna go grab a puppy. It is a lot of work, a lot lack of sleep, readjusting your schedule. There's a puppy schedule I didn't know there was. So we're trying to learn quickly so that she grows up to be, you know, a well-behaved dog around our community, because I want to take her around the community. And that takes a lot of work. So, you know, I've had to learn to really be precious about my time and say no to a lot of things. And here's the thing, the things that I'm saying no to now, I should have been saying no to a while back. And it's hard for me to say no. So setting those boundaries has been challenging. But I can see also that she keeps me present. So being present, taking deep breaths. And if my self-care was like, oh, I get up at, you know, 5 a.m, get to work out and meditate, right now, I get to meditate for like 2 minutes. And that's my self-care. It has changed drastically. Washing my face and doing the bed, that was a great day. And I've had to learn to embrace that and say, that's my motto has been like, it's the best I can do right now. And I'm not used to that. I'm used to going above and beyond. And right now I have to kind of scale back and say, this 1 hour, I'm going to give it everything I can, do my best. And then I feel more comfortable saying it's the best I could do. And I have to say no to things, and that's challenging, but it is how I'm coping and giving myself time.
Yeah, you have to. That's so well said, both of you. It's like you have to be fluid. You can't be rigid.
Yeah.
Because that hurts, especially if you have a puppy or a child. All that structure is gone.
Yeah.
And you're starting anew. And if you're trying to hold on to things the way they were, you know, it just causes pain. And the same with grief and loss and all the issues we're dealing with. These families are being thrown into the deep end, and you're saying, you know, you're going to have to find a new way to swim. You know, right now we're going to have to play in new waters and be there. So I think part of what works as SBRN is that we're always innovating. None of our responses, we've been dozens, probably hundreds of responses. None of them are the same. I mean, what we're going to do, what we did in Isla Vista, what we did in Montecito, what we doing with a shooting or they're totally different. So if you can't think on your feet, and then when I got my training, we all got our training, one of the things we learned is you're going to have to be present for what's there.
Mhm.
And you're going to have to throw out the steps. There are no steps. You're being present and you're going through the basic primary psychological first aid response care, but everything else is going to have to be fluid. And that's being present for what our community needs and these families need.
Yeah.
So I think that's a huge lesson. And that's self-care. I got to throw out the old, I got to start anew, and that's okay. 1 minute meditation, that's fine. No meditation, making the bed, that's my meditation. That's it today. That's it.
I took a shower. It's a good day,
That's
y'all. I'll be very honest.
did my hair, that's it. I did my compassion center. So that's it. That's how this was my self-care today, just being with you guys. So we're coming to the end of
Really
our
quick.
time, and I didn't want to do anything formal. Yeah, please. I want
No,
you to
so
finish up.
talking about the marathon, right?
Yeah.
We think about marathon. So if we're talking about marathon, we have to think about marathon runners, right? They get a chance to train. We didn't. Okay. We were like, oh, it's gonna be over,
Right.
summer. So we didn't. So be very, very good to yourselves. And I remember I did a training with David Burns, who focuses a lot, Dr. David Burns, he focuses a lot on anxiety. And he talked a lot about marathons and how he once, just did a marathon. And he had a client that was so scared of running and pooping on his pants. So the way he was able to connect with us, he ran a marathon, and sometimes that happens. Like your body's just like, I need to go, and you're in a marathon. And sometimes it's just you gotta let go. You might have to let go. It's not gonna feel comfortable, but it's what your body needs. And we gotta get to the end of this marathon, which we will together. And so look back, help each other out, don't judge. And we're gonna be there for each other. I don't want to say we're gonna be okay, but just know that there's resources in the community that are here for you. Those are my final words to everyone. And really important to do the self-care.
And it's okay not to be okay, and just reach out. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. And I think for me, the final words would be love. I do automatic writing in the morning, and always, every time, like I just kind of say, what's happening, Gina? And it comes down to, it all boils down to love. And the Beatles were right. All you need is love. And love is just, like Anthony talks, a big heart, opening your heart. All you need is do, 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 do. So on that note, and that beautiful singing and rendition, I just wanted to thank you all and say that there is hope, there is resilience. We're in a marathon, but we're taking it in our stride. We're there for you. SBRN is there. Call, text, email, and let us know if you need anything. And we're here for you. And you're not alone.
That's
Have a
right.
good evening. Have a good dinner. Keep moving. Keep talking.
Good night,
Keep
everybody.
sharing. Thank you all. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.